Hi, this is Unimagination. Welcome to the Ethical Asshole. I am your host, the salty bitch. So, I was talking to some people yesterday, and at one point, I heard the phrase, and this is not the first time I've heard it, your science does not look like science. And I love it. I love it. And at first glance, it's like, this is not what normal science looks like. No, it doesn't. It's not marketed to. And we talked about that a little bit, but I hear it a lot, and I really wanted to sit down and dig into it because I love science. And are you having a problem?
Yes.
Do you need a minute?
I said don't go live yet.
I know, and then I forgot, and then I
Yeah.
I'm live. My daughter's trying. So we have a cat, and the cat likes to. We don't know what the cat is doing. The cat likes, I will guard the box. I will guard the box. Hand me the box. Hand me the box. You're right. So hand me the box. I will protect. So we have a chessboard, and I had a chessboard this chessboard sitting out on my shelf. And about 3 nights ago, the cat decided I can get attention at 2 a.m. if I pick up all of the bishops and the pawns and throw them around the house. So every night, for the last 3 nights, we've gotten up and we've had to take pieces of pawns and chess pieces away from the cat. It's very loud to hear these chess pieces rolling around on a wood floor. So, and then he realized every time he wants attention, why leave it to 2 a.m.? I can do this all the time. So about half an hour ago, he decided he wanted attention. So he was going to start picking up all the chess pieces. And he's got them on the table. They're all over. So my daughter's like, I'm putting it away. So that was the noise. So as far as this is interesting. And it's, let's set this aside for a minute. I'm sitting here watching this video this morning, and I'm going through some trading training. And my 17-year-old daughter came over, and she got a glimpse of an adult training video, and she goes, why is it so? And I went, oh, adults don't know how to have fun, honey. And she goes, well, I don't understand. And you see this grown man listening to headphones, like miming his dancing, like he's trying to show he's having a good time. And while that's going on, the words on the screen do not at all match to the dude doing the dance. And it reminds me of every training video we've had to watch for orientation in every job we've all ever had to have, where in the middle of the day, our boss says to us, you guys need to watch this training from HR. And so we all stop the workday to watch this real shitty training video. It's those. So we're sitting there, I'm watching this, and my 17-year-old daughter sees one for the first time, and she's like, what is this? Adults don't know how to have fun. And she's like, and she's just staring at it like, I don't get it. I said, this is what happens when you have a scientist not doing any art. And she goes, oh, they did this in school. Yes, because adults don't know how to have fun. So it's all science, and they have no art. And this is what it looks like. And she's just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, I know. This is what happens when you take art away from people. They try and make entertainment, and they try and do things, but they have no idea how to integrate art and science. Back to the topic of this video. So when I brought in science, my agenda is to make science accessible to the common man so that everybody, not just scientists, can do science. And my science is not for scientists. It's been scrutinized by scientists. You are more than welcome to dissect it, but it's not marketed for scientists. We don't need more scientists learning more about science because they already got their science. And they are quite capable of studying and reading my stuff. However, my stuff is for the common man. It's taking science and simplifying it for the common people so they can participate in science too. And science has been made unnecessarily complicated. Now, there's 2 reasons for this. The first reason is because scientists don't know how to teach, and scientists haven't studied psychology. So they don't understand the mind. So they don't understand how learning happens. Now, they might have it on paper with all the complex steps. It's because they don't understand it enough. If you understand something simply, If you can say it simply, you understand it. So says Einstein and Newton. So if you are complicating it, it's because you don't get it. And scientists may have studied the first layer. The problem with scientists is they are in the process of dissection. I was there, and this is why you see this is actually a really fascinating study. And this is a thing, it's amazing. As you can see, the stages of complexity. When I started off, everything was complex, not complicated. And then as I studied it, it became simpler and simpler. And I knew I was looking for one word. The word is vitology. And until I could find the one word to simplify and summarize everything that I do, then I'm stuck. So I knew I had not learned it properly until I could simplify it into 5 words or less. I am a world solutionist that takes all the disciplines and integrates them into practical solutions that people can apply. That's what I do. I am a world solutionist who integrates all the disciplines into a practical solution. So getting to that point is the journey of study. So whenever you study a discipline, you are actually dissecting to the point of one. This is reconstruction. So when you start, you take the one word, and this is how learning is supposed to happen. The teacher gives you the one word. Boom, this is vitology. Go. And if the teacher has prepared you properly and trained you in learning, you'll take vitology and you will know what to do with it. You simplify it. To simplify it, you start by finding the next 2 components. What is vitology? Can you say it in 2 words or less? Now, this is the deconstruction part of it. This is literally here's a computer for your birthday. And the first thing you do is take it apart. The very first thing you do is take it apart. So the first thing you do is take off the outer shell. So that's what you want to do. The word vitology is an outer shell. So you want to remove the outer shell. And then you're going to get these guts. Now, the guts are all assembled. You need to disassemble. So this is what reverse engineering is. And this is true of every discipline. Scientists, if you look at the diagram, is about here, which means they're not done simplifying it, which is why they can't explain it. So the next run of people who come in, they start the process and they're deconstructing it, but they haven't simplified it. So they don't know. They're in the process of doing that. And because they haven't concluded it, they haven't been able to figure it out. So they're in the process of deconstruction. Now, in psychology, the same thing. It's a beautiful open, close, and then it's done. And here you go. There it is. We call this Pythagorean psychology, and it's all done. In addition to that, you also have education, which is part of this. And power economics is part of it. And vitology is all of it. And Pythagorean psychology sits inside the next academic cradle, which is logic, which is philosophy, which is story. These are academic cradles. And once you understand the process and the breakdown, then you can deliver it to people. And this is where educators have everything backwards. They try and deliver it to people before they even know what they're doing because they haven't finished the process yet. Education belongs and is a subgenre of Pythagorean psychology, but no one has studied Pythagorean psychology. And as a result, no one understands the order of operations, nor do they understand the relativity of where education is in the learning process. They still think it's 2 different subjects. We're waiting for them to catch up. Once they realize that it's the same subject, it's actually a subgenre inside of Pythagorean psychology, then they'll have their shit together. In the meantime, no one knows to apply learning education and power economics with psychology in order to understand the entire picture. So on those subjects, it's chaos. It's really chaos right now, which is why it's chaos, is because we don't have these subjects not integrated into the system yet. So when you look at something like science, this is where, again, if you don't understand something simply, then you can't deliver it. And they are in the process of discovery. They are explorers. And I had this problem when I was pioneering and dissecting and breaking it all down, that I could not explain what I was working on until I was able to simplify it. And they have not yet reached the simplification process, especially astronomers. The people who are doing quantum physics, they're well, yeah. Eventually, they're going to start reverse engineering. Well, they're reverse engineering it now, but eventually they're going to get to a point where they're going to go, oh, we need to go the other way. But they need logic for that. And because they don't have logic, they just keep going because they're going the wrong way. So it might be a while. It might be a while. Yeah, they really need logic. Anyway, so when I was delivering science and packaging it all up, I had a massive choice. Who is going to be my audience? Now, I'm not interested in selling my work at all to scientists because I don't need to convince them that they need science. They're not the ones who need to be taught what science is. You are. The common man is. The artist needs to know what science is. Children, girls who are told that they can't be scientists need to be taught what science is. The assholes telling girls and women that they can't be scientists, those fucking morons need to be taught what science is. Religious people need to be taught what science really is. Everybody else in the world, non-scientists, really need to be taught what science is. So now I have a choice. Do I want to market my work to a bunch of scientists? Or do I want to actually market it to the people who need it and don't know what it is? So there is nothing, if I were to put a word on science, it would be the word cold. There really is no other word for it. It's cold, which really does not make it fun. It's cold. And I remember I was the artist. I first came in, no, I wasn't. I was a physicist, but I found the warmth in physics. I found the warmth in physics because I found the physics in music. Music put the warmth and the fuzziness inside of physics. You can't do physics without music. What the fuck are you doing? Music is the warmth of physics. But when you study physics without music, what the fuck are you doing? How dare you call yourself a physicist if you haven't even touched music? They're kind of like the same thing. It's like, this is the skeleton and this is the blood. And you kind of need them both. So all the science is like this. Math and geometry is art. It's art. It's art. You really need art for perspective in order to get math to work and music. So one side of the spectrum is the warmth and the other side of the spectrum is the cold. And the cold turns people off. It really does. And if you have a math or a science mind and you look at music, you're not going to, I'm one of those people. So I really don't understand I don't hear music without the science. So I don't know what everyone else hears. I cannot hear music without hearing the mathematical repetition, the patterns. I cannot take the science out of music or art. So I can't look at them just to look. I don't know at all what everyone else hears. I just look at those things as a scientist. So for me, this is the disintegration of humanity that we've done. And this is what I mean by, I grew up outside of the system. I'm different. I'm not like everybody else. And as a result, I don't understand the disintegration of these two concepts. For me, art and science is science and art. It's the same thing. It's just a different perspective of the same thing. So to say, well, you can't have science if you're an artist is like, it is removing the perspective from that. And I'm going, what are you doing removing perspectives? You need that. So it's something our society has done to us. And if you made it past 2 years old without having this done to you, congratulations, you're like me. In most cases, it was done to you. So you were forced to separate and disintegrate art and science, and they're separate now. And they threw story away and flushed it down the toilet, which is why we're all story deprived, which is why we spend billions and trillions of dollars every year on movies and books. Is because we're like, no, my story. It's a thing we have. So between story, music or art, and science, you need all three of these things together. And if you made it past 2 years old without this being ripped out of you, great. But if not, that leaves the artist going, oh my God, I don't want science. Why would I want, it's icky. And let's show you what it really is. One question I get a lot of, or one conversation I have over and over again with people, and I just don't understand this, is this conversation. Science is nature. Science is nature. It's the study of the language of nature. And I've asked people, what do you think science is doing? What do you think they're doing? Well, what do you think they are doing? Just fill in the blank. Whatever you think scientists are doing, I want you to take a minute and ask yourself, what do you think they are doing? Do you know what they're doing? So I'm going to explain to you what they're really doing. Mother Nature speaks 18 languages. 18 languages. Scientists are the people, the really good scientists, are the people who have mastered all the 18 languages and are using the language to talk to Mother Nature, to translate her. They're translating her. And they are reverse engineering with her language what she is into actual comprehension and theory so they can tell people this is what Mother Nature is. They are translating and studying Mother Nature and then translating her with the 18 languages into simplification for people to understand. Now, they haven't gotten to the simplification part yet. And most scientists have abandoned art. A few of them have kept it around, but not very much. Einstein kept it around, and that's why he was so good. You need all the disciplines. The more you have, the better you can hear Mother Nature, the better you can understand her. So I'm going to give you some perspective. The average scientist has 4 of her languages, maybe 5. The average person has 1 or 2. I have about 12. I have about 12 of her languages. And in the other subjects that I don't have, I have the sequence and the theory. I just haven't dissected. So I at least can understand their relevancy and where I need to. For instance, in calculus, I'm actually supposed to be calculating the time frame and the distance. I don't do that. So I don't make assumptions on how long something takes because I know I don't have calculus to do that, nor is it relevant to me or important. Time doesn't matter. So measuring time and distance is not something I'm interested in. I'm not interested in measuring speed. I measure frequency instead, which is where I am with rhythm, music, and physics, not with, I don't use calculus. Because again, why am I studying distance? I have no interest in studying distance or speed. None at all. I just don't have any. I know it's the study of change and evolution. I'm going to be studying it eventually when I need it. I just haven't needed it yet. I think that's it, really. I haven't needed it yet. People are like, oh, well, can you tell me when this is going to take place? No. I can tell you what milestone to look for. I can tell you when you're heading in the right direction. How long it takes is going to depend on how much you decide to get off your butt and actually work toward it. I have no way of knowing that because I don't know your motivator and I don't know how resistant you are. I have to be able to measure your resistance. And because I can't measure your resistance, I can. If I knew you, but I don't know you, I'd have to sit down and literally have all 8 billion of you take a survey. This is not going to happen, where you all sit down because you would resist the survey. So there's no way I can measure this because you would resist the survey. All 8 billion of you. I might get 0.000000001.00000% of you taking the survey. And yeah, I know. I had a whole lot of zeros I didn't need there at the end. And I know I'm not going to get these numbers. So I'm not going to be able to take any kind of an accurate reading to assess how much resistance all of you have. So instead, I look at the overall summation and I watch the behavior of how people move and make decisions to assess when we're going to hit certain milestones. And then I need 4 data points. Once I have 4 data points, I can then measure that. So that's what I'm going to do. Calculus is not going to help me with that. Math and logic can help me with that. So I have other scientists to supplement for calculus. But I know enough about calculus that I can go, I don't need that because it's not relevant to what I'm doing. Therefore, I'm not going to study it yet. So when you start to figure this out, I'm also not studying astronomy. I will not study astronomy. I have no interest yet in divination. So I'm not going to study astronomy. I have no interest in the Mayan clock right now. And I already have the Mayan clock. So why do I need to reinvent the wheel when they've already done it? And I know that if I study astronomy, I'm just going to be adding to the universal world clock, which is not relevant to me. The rule number 1 of all disciplines is relevancy. Is it relevant to you? If it's not relevant, then don't study it. So I have 12 of the 18 disciplines. And I'm going, I don't need the other ones yet. So when you sit down and you're translating Mother Nature, what you want to do is ask yourself the relevancy of the disciplines. and how many of her languages. But in order to do that, how many of her languages you actually want to learn. But in order to do that, you have to know what the subjects do. So understanding what the disciplines all do, let me go ahead and pull up that list here because that is absolutely something. That is a big deal. Like music is progression. When you study music, you're actually studying the science of progression. And when you are studying art, you're studying the science of perspective. That's what you're studying when you study art. You're studying perspective. When you are studying theater and stage, you are studying everybody's role. You're literally studying community and society. Oh, you really are when you study theater and stage. You're studying human connection when you study theater and stage. And when you are studying reading, writing, you are studying communications. That is what you are studying when you study reading and writing is communications. Arithmetic is communications. That gets into the measure of quantity. That's all you study with arithmetic, it's quantity. And then when you study linguistics and logic, you are studying comprehension, pure comprehension. And there are stages of every one of these things. So you can study progression, but there's going to be stage 1 of progression, stage 2 of progression, stage 3 of progression, and stage 4 of progression. And when you study perspective in art, there's 1 perspective, 2 perspective, 3 perspective, 4 perspective stages. And when you study theater stage, same thing. So where you go, and this is dissection. Dissection is the last stage. So you're going to have a vocabulary, which is your first stage. And then after the vocabulary, you're going to have the rhythm and the music. You're going to need to know the timing and the frequency and how it moves. That's movement. And then after you learn movement and how something moves and flexes and ebbs and flows, the next thing you're going to want to learn is how it all starts to fit together in a community with relevancy to you. This is where you're going to want to make sure you have your heading, your origin, and then your relativity to both. That way you know where you are. And then you're going to want to be able to learn how to communicate. You're going to want to know how you can transfer the data in your mind to other people. Message delivery. But then you need to know the stages of comprehension. Now, this is where logic is a cradle, is because in order to even understand this, you need the science of comprehension, which is why logic is the be-all, end-all of academic cradles. An academic cradle is a discipline that holds all the other disciplines in place with a single origin. It is a common denominator. So if you do not have the common denominator, you're not going to be able to follow the line of sequence all the way through. The common denominator of everything is story, people. It's story. It's why we're obsessed with it. It is the how does it unfold? Where are we going? Why are we here? Who am I? What's my role in this play? And where am I on stage? Show me my position, please. We're studying all the aspects of story, so you know yours, in relativity to Mother Nature's story. So she's got a story. The society has a story, and you have a story. Do you know it? So a scientist is the translator and the teller of Mother Nature's story. That's what they're doing. They are the ones giving us Mother Nature's story so we can all figure out what's going on. We need them. The artist is all about studying story itself in all of its various parts. That is what the artist does. But the communicator, do I have that backwards? One moment. Yes, I do. The artist is studying the self. It's the communicator. It's the cultivator, the logician that is the storyteller. They're the ones studying story in general. So you have the story itself, you have Mother Nature's story, and you have you. And when you're an artist, you are studying you and your story. Scientists are studying Mother Nature's story. And the communicator, the logician, is studying story with society and community. So you have story health, logical health, and community health. And you need all 3 of them together. That is art, communications, and science. And communications is the bridge that literally brings them both together. A fulcrum. It's a fulcrum. It's the fulcrum. That is the common. I am sick. I am sick. I can feel it. Ooh, it's been a long time since I've been sick. I can feel it. I have a cold. Fascinating. So when you are looking at science and trying to figure out your relativity to science, I'm a scientist, so I don't understand people's aversion to science. I really don't. I understand the psychology of a religious person having a severe problem with science. And I grew up in that community. So I know that they're telling lies, and science proves their lies wrong. So they don't want people to study science because, oh no, they'll know we're lying. That's why religious people don't want science, is because their lies become transparent, which is why science is a direct threat to religion. If you're lying about your religion, if you're being honest about your religion, then you're okay to hear what science has to say. But science is a mother nature, and this is it right here. Science is mother nature. So it's literally man-made fictional lies versus mother nature's truth. And one of the biggest lies that religious people came up with was science is false. Science is what they did was they took mother nature, broke her down, and said, I'm better because I'm a man. Well, mother nature has physics. Let's see how that works out for you. So when it came time for me to deliver and write all of my stuff, I thought about submitting it to the journals. And then I went, oh, the journals don't exist for this kind of science because this is after science. After science. My science is after science. And yeah, my science is after science. My science is also with a different foundation. Different foundation. So let me show you the sequence. What's going on with science is this. You've got Euclid and Pythagoras. Great. We got something solid. You got Newton. Woohoo! We got the basics. You got Aristotle here. So you got the core scientists. They did a really great job getting the foundation built. So we're good. Around the 18th and 19th century, things started to get wonky. That's my word. Wonky. Wonky shit happened. Tesla was really fucking good. He threw some stuff in there. It's like, all right, we got more to the foundation. Einstein came up with some stuff. Some of the stuff is spot on, other stuff is not. We're all looking at the theory of relativity. This group of physicists says it's bullshit. This group of people says it's solid. Math says it's not solid. Or the group that says it's bullshit is wrong. So we have a question, and all science needs to stop. We all need to become logicians now. This is why you need to be a logician. Is because when you have inconsistency, now the math is speaking up. Because if the math was right, we all would be in agreement. No one is arguing that Newton's laws of physics are accurate. Everyone, 100% agreement. Okay, the math is right. There you go. There's no denying. We got math, we got logic, we got physics, we got Newton. We've got all the scientists going, Newton was right. Very good. Everyone says Newton was right. Okay, we're all on the same page. 100% accuracy. This is math going, thus Mother Nature has spoken. But when it comes to the theory of relativity, first of all, it's a theory, which means it's an idea, which means there's no fact yet, which is why it's a theory. These people over here say that it's true, but they haven't been able to prove it so solidly that it's no longer a theory because we call it the theory of relativity, not the fact of relativity. So the people who claim it's right don't know. The people who say it's wrong, the question is, do you have the proof? I don't know. I have to study all of their disagreements. We might not have enough data. So I'm sitting here going, why are we arguing about this? Because the theory of relativity is going to take the research that direction or not. So now you've got people studying this group of physics, and it might be wrong. And you have other people studying this group of physics, and it might be wrong. And then you got people studying another group of physics, and now you got people so Einstein really fucked up a lot. He gave us E equals mc squared, and that's solid. But the rest of it, oh, he fucked up. There's a lot going on, and people are like, he didn't fuck it up. It just people lost, well, they all have a bunch of balloons now without any tethers. So I'll explain that. When we're born, we all have a balloon with a helium tank and a thread that holds our balloon, okay? And the red balloon is our imagination and our dreams and our theories and hypotheses. It's our imagination, okay? And the helium tank is our imagination and passion combined. So someone took imagination and passion and threw them together into a helium tank. And the balloon is our ideas and theories. Logic, math, and physics is the tether that keeps it grounded. Now, you got a lot of people, when we were 2 years old, some fucking asshole walked in with scissors and snipped our balloons and helium tanks and left us all with strings. So most of us are walking around with just strings dragging on the ground. We are too grounded. And as a result, we're still carrying around strings and we're all dead now. We're all making adult videos. That sounds so dirty, doesn't it? It's so funny. We're all making adult office videos. That sounds even better. That could be in a genre. That needs to be a genre. All right, I'm going to keep that one in mind. So we're all making adult office videos. And there's no art and there's no fun. And it's like, I hate my life kind of is the message that's being delivered. And then some of us have managed to find our helium tanks and our balloons. And there's a person there sitting there passing them all out. But they are so forced to indulge in the string that they threw the string out, they grabbed the balloon, the helium tank, and now they're just gassing themselves up. And we got a lot of people who are way out there now. And I am in the school where you need the balloon, the helium tank, and the tether. The people who have rejected science are just getting high on the helium tank and their balloon. And then you got some people who are sitting in a lounge somewhere and all they're doing is just gassing up on 2 helium tanks. They really need some tethers. And I will meet people. Oh, yes. Everyone in the world is one of these. This is it, people. We all are balloon people. This is it right here. There's some people who really need to let some helium out of their balloons. There's other people who really need to put down the helium tank. A lot of people need a big tether. A lot of people with tethers really need to get themselves a balloon. And that's what's going on. When you are done, you really need a balloon, a helium tank, and a tether. This is called balance. So those are my people. My people are the ones with balloons, helium tanks, and a tether. And there's a lot of physicists in the world who do not have a tether. There's no philosopher in this world who has a tether. A lot of philosophers do not have tethers. Not one fucking psychologist in this world has a tether. Some neuroscientists, psychiatrists have tethers, but they really need some balloons. You see how this is going? Yeah, you got a lot of Democrats, and none of the Democrats have any balloons. No Republican has a balloon. A lot of religious people have no strings. They have no tethers. They just have a helium tank and a balloon. You can see where this is going. And then there's some people, they don't have anything. They have nothing. Their parents took everything away. So they're not allowed to hold their tether. Their parents hold that tether for them. There you go. There's the entire world in a nutshell. Which one are you? So I collect the people who have a balloon, a helium tank, and a tether. Those are my people. Those are my people. Those are my people. So when I built this, I was like, and this is the question that I got. What's your niche? I don't know what my niche is. Who's your target? I don't know who my target is. I don't know. I'm my target. And I realized my niche are the people who have the helium tank, have the balloon, and have the tether. So I build the science for those people. And those people, a lot of them are really good with transferring my data to the people who need a tether because it's simple science. It is simple science for people who need science because they're the ones who really need it. Whereas the scientists, well, some of them are off without any tethers. That's what we call theoretical physicists. That's a joke. And then there are other people who have too much string and absolutely no balloon or helium tank. They need some. So it's really, you want that balance. You need all three of these worlds. You need to understand the big picture. So when you're sitting here dissecting Mother Nature and poking at they're probing Mother Nature. That's what scientists do. They probe Mother Nature. They use their intuition and they use Mother Nature's 18 languages. Most of them only use 6 or 4 to 6 to probe Mother Nature and dissect her and translate her. And if they talked to her with their intuition, they would be better at their job. They all need logic. Most of them do not have logic, and it shows. Oh, good God, does it show? Scientific method itself has a logical fallacy in it, which does not disprove the math because math and physics are present to correct all the errors, but it does waste a lot of resources, time, and financing. So if they had logic, it would actually save them a lot of resources. but it's not illogical in some cases unless they're chasing a theory that does not exist. If they're chasing a theory that does not exist, and this is the logical fallacy in scientific method, if you are chasing a theory that does not exist, you're going to forever be chasing something that does not exist. So you're going to be wasting everybody else's resources and times and research facility chasing something that can't be proven. If they had logic, they'd know this. Which is why you should never, ever, 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 ever form a theory without math, logic, and physics. Ever. And if they had logic, they would know that. So all scientists need logic. Now, the ones who are asking questions and then using the facility to dissect the questions, oh, they got it figured out. But not many of them do that. They have theories instead. You should never have an hypothesis first. Hypotheses are placeholders that should come at the very end of the research that mark the, okay, so here's everything, but here's where my research ends and I don't have the answer for this. It could be this. So in this explanation, I'm going to hypothesize, but I have no evidence. So that when I'm ready to finally sit down and do that research, I'm going to do this with a hippocampus because I have an hypothesis that's not relevant to any of my logical predecessor of this is all of my work. Now I've got one thing that I don't know about, and that's what the hippocampus does and its role that it plays inside a person's ethical growth. This is very interesting. Hypothesis and it's not relevant at all to my work. So it's a standalone. It's like a side subject. And when I have facilities and a lab, I'm going to be asking the question, what is the hippocampus's role in ethical growth, education, and psychology? And then I have a whole lot of experiments that we're going to run, and we're going to look for common denominators. And wherever the common denominators light up the data, oh, that's what we're going to dissect are the common denominators. Then we're going to pool all the common denominators together. This is how you're supposed to do research. And you're going to analyze the common denominators to see if they are anomaly, what they have in common, what their grouping is, and what their traits are. Then you're going to be able to form an hypothesis based off of all the common denominators. Yeah, you still have an hypothesis. So then you want to ask the next question, and then you want to locate the answer to the question, not locate the proof to your hypothesis. Never, never try to prove an hypothesis or a theory. You need to be looking for an answer to a question. And that is where scientific method currently is really illogically fucked up. So really get this, once we fix this, and my labs are going to have this fixed, then science is really going to straighten itself out and everyone will have a helium tank and a balloon and a tether and the scientists will be set. But as far as the non-tethered people, they really need science. Because if you don't have science, you don't have the ability to maneuver your own brain. And your brain runs on science. But you need art, which is your identity. So you've got your art, which is your identity. And you've got your science, which is your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is just pure science. Now, the art people are all going, I hate science. Well, you're just hating on yourself because that's your subconscious mind. No wonder why you're in self-preservation mode. You keep saying you hate science and your subconscious mind is going, oh, but that's me. What the fuck? Be nice to yourself. Love science. That's your mind. Come on, people. Now you got scientists going, yeah, I don't get art. And those are the people who attack their identities. Stop doing it. You need both. So art people need to learn to love science, and science people need to learn to love art, and storytelling people need to sit up and go, look, we need to talk about the role of the artist and the scientist and how they are in all three of us, because you also have a storyteller inside of you as well. The storyteller is the person who sits down and tells everybody what the artist and the scientist do and how they work together. Because I'm really sick of adult office videos that are just like, we need art in this world, people. Art. So that is a lesson for the day. So when I do my weird science, what I am doing is marketing towards the non-science people. So it has to look like it's fun and artistic for them. So they go, oh, science doesn't have to be scary. No, science is not scary, nor is it complicated. This is really, really simple, easy shit. In fact, if you are a musician, you just need it relevant to you. That's all you need. You just need it relevant. That's storytelling. You really need the science relevant to you. Now, there's going to be some science that you're not going to have any relevancy to, like calculus. It's just not relevant to me yet. Eventually it will be. And astronomy, just not relevant. Not relevant. I do not need to know the size of Saturn. Not yet. Not relevant. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.